It's D-U-E-U tell. I see you by this point, you're reading my mind. It's time for football. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, man. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it, let's do it. We gon' make this thing official, you heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit, yeah.
Welcome to Football Game Plan's NFL All 32 show. I am Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. And on today's episode, it will be all about the Denver Broncos in Mile High City as we start to preview the upcoming 2021 NFL season. We'll take a look at some training camp quick hits, some reasons for optimism, as well as some causes for concern, in addition to our positional breakdowns on both sides of the ball. But first, let's take a look at some of the key storylines heading into the Broncos season as we go into our 4-minute offense. The Broncos are prepping for a competitive QB battle this summer between Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater, who they acquired in the trade before the NFL draft. I still have faith in both players, so not questioning their talent, more so them finding the level of consistency needed to be successful. Lock looked to be trending in the right direction after his rookie year, but was a bit too up and down in his second season, and he dealt with a shoulder injury that knocked him out of a few games. Bridgewater, on the other hand, only had one season in Carolina that saw him show enough talent for that offense to have two 1,000-yard passers, but the Panthers decided to go with Sam Darnold, who Bridgewater outplayed when he was a rookie with the Jets, and Bridgewater is more of a cautious passer in the mold of Alex Smith, in my opinion, while Locke has the arm talent and raw likability of a Josh Allen. The Broncos need for this position to flatline the consistency and help elevate the rest of the offense, and we'll see if that'll be the case this upcoming season. Quarterback won't be the only positional battle that'll be talked about all throughout training camp, so look for there to be a big-time battle on the right side of the offensive line at tackle. Calvin Anderson and free agent signees Bobby Massey and Cam Fleming will battle it out for that right tackle job. Now, Anderson has played well when he was asked to step in, and the team would love to see him put a stranglehold on that position, but they also want to protect themselves with capable veterans in Bobby Massey and Cam Fleming if Anderson isn't able to do just that. So I believe that either way, they've taken away that position as a serious question mark heading into the season, as they have plenty of good options here at right tackle. It's clear that the Broncos wanted to get better in the secondary by judging their offseason moves. Denver went out and signed former Bears stud cornerback Kyle Fuller and veteran Ronald Darby to be starters at the cornerback position, in addition to adding 5 players this past April in the 2021 NFL draft in the secondary at corner and also safety, including first-round pick Patrick Surtain II. They're hoping to increase the productivity on the back end and help build a stronger unit around free safety Justin Simmons, who has been excellent. And we'll see if the new pieces can get acclimated quickly and bolster this group as a whole. Speaking of bolstering a unit, in the second round of the draft, the Broncos added North Carolina running back Javonte Williams. It was an interesting move in my opinion nonetheless, as Williams has similar skills to that of Royce Freeman and is entering a backfield that has an established starter in Melvin Gordon. And although Williams' selection could signal that one of those aforementioned two, their tenure is nearly up, but either way, I think he adds a capable back to the mix and one who specializes in running through arm tackles and has a nose for the end zone. Look for this to be a common theme all throughout the show. The 2021 Denver Broncos will only go as far as either Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater will take them. I think it has to be one and not both, because you want the starter to not have to worry about looking over his shoulder after every incomplete pass, sack, or interception. Locke is still a young enough player to invest in, so if it has to be Bridgewater as a starter, don't fully give up on the third-year quarterback in Locke. Now, if it has to be Locke as your starter, you know Bridgewater can step into the lineup in case of an injury. He proved that in New Orleans and help guide an offense. So personally, I think it's a good move either way for the Broncos. Crowded backfield with some talent here for the Broncos. Melvin Gordon led the team in rushing last year with nearly 1,000 yards and scored 9 rushing touchdowns. Now gone is Phillip Lindsay, which makes sense why they selected Javonte Williams. He figures to log those 118 carries that Lindsay had last year while also giving them someone that can grow into a lead role. Ever since his rookie season, Royce Freeman's role has slowly diminished. He's a solid running back from a prospect perspective, but just can't find a consistent role here in Denver. And the team also has Mike Boone and Levante Bellamy as well, with the latter being arguably their most explosive back out the group. Love the talent and depth here amongst this receiving core. Getting back Courtland Sutton will be a huge boost to their passing game. He missed virtually the entire season last year with a torn ACL, and however, his absence allowed for young receivers in Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler to get the most valuable reps, with Jerry Jeudy leading the team in receiving yards with just over 850. I would expect both guys to take a significant step forward this upcoming year. I like to say that Tim Patrick is the Broncos receiving core's security blanket, as he's just a very consistent player who's always finding receptions. Now, in the 6th round of the draft, they took Seth Williams out of Auburn, who graded out as my number 2 inside wide receiver, who shows enthusiasm in the blocking department to help spring long runs. But look for Tyree Cleveland to provide some good depth out there on the perimeter. It's going to be a tough battle again at that position for those back end spots, because they got some talent, including undrafted rookie free agent Warren Jackson out of Colorado State. Now at tight end, Noah Fant continues to make a name for himself as one of the top young targets in the league at the position. He was 3rd on the team in receiving yards and 1st in receptions with 62, becoming a reliable option for Drew Lock and a good safety valve for him. Expect to see Albert Owebanam, his role increased this season, as prior to injury, he was flashing that potential as a massive target. Eric Saubert was signed in free agency, and he helps round out the tight end group. I really do like the Broncos offensive line. I'm glad they were patient with Garrett Bowles at left tackle as he turned himself into an all-pro, giving them stability on the left side. And we spoke earlier about the battle that'll occur on the right side, and either way, it'll leave the Broncos with good depth at tackle. On the interior, look for center Lloyd Cushenberry to shine this year. I thought he finished his rookie season strong and should carry that momentum into 2021. Graham Glasgow and Dalton Reisner are rock-solid guards, and rookie Quinn Miners out of Wisconsin Whitewater has tremendous upside at either guard or center and is coming off of a stellar week of work down at the Senior Bowl. He and second-year player Natane Muti give them 2 physically strong, athletic, and versatile depth pieces on the inside. Health was a major issue for this unit last season, as they suffered injuries all throughout the year, which helped contribute to a porous run defense. Now that everyone is back healthy, things are looking up for the Broncos. Draymond Jones, Mike Purcell, and Shelby Harris are a solid trio, with Jones blossoming into a fantastic player. I like what I saw last year from the rookie McTelvin Agim, who's now in his 2nd season. He's someone that'll be tough to keep off the field. They got good play from Deshaun Williams last year when injuries started to mount up on the field. And I think this season they get Jonathan Harris back and sign both Shamar Stephen and Isaiah Mack in free agency, who had some moments for the Tennessee Titans. Keep an eye out for Marquise Spencer, the rookie out of Mississippi State. He was my number 1 5 technique in the draft class and is a former linebacker who made the transition to defensive line, so you know he has the athleticism. This is arguably the best unit on their defense. Getting back Von Miller makes them dangerous. He and Bradley Chubb, when they're healthy, are a dynamic duo, routinely meeting at the quarterback every Sunday. Malik Reed gave them some really good production last year as a pass rusher, leading the team in sacks with 8. And I'll be interested to see what progress Derek Tusker can make in his 2nd season out of North Dakota State, as he was pretty much robbed of his full rookie season last year with injuries. On the inside, both Alexander Johnson and Josie Jewell are strong versus the run, with both guys finishing 1 and 2 respectively in tackles, with both going over 100 in that regard. With Justin Strnad back healthy and adding Baron Browning in the draft out of Ohio State, the Broncos get more athletic and versatile at the position, as Strnad has the speed and athleticism to help in coverage, and Browning has the ability to be a pressure-type player or blitzer after spending time as an edge player for Ohio State. In the secondary is where we should see the most improvement this year from Denver. Signing Kyle Fuller was huge. He was the best corner the Bears had and gives them a bona fide number 1 at the position. Ronald Darby is a solid veteran who should step in and start at nickel, but keep an eye out for 7th-round rookie Kerry Vincent out of LSU, who will push Darby for some minutes at the spot, as he has top-tier football awareness. Patrick Surtain II, the rookie 1st-round pick out of Alabama, will step in and start opposite of Fuller. Surtain II is a press man guy with excellent technique and ability. Now, I think he's an all-rookie candidate for sure. Bryce Callahan, Michael Ojemedia, Usain Bassi, and Duke Dawson help round out the depth. But don't sleep on Parnell Motley making a case for the 53-man roster, as well as rookie Mac McCain, the third out of North Carolina A&T, an undrafted free agent. Now at safety, it starts with Justin Simmons, who is one of the NFL's best free safeties. He's got the range on the back end and is always around the football. They decided to bring back Kareem Jackson this offseason. I think it's mainly to provide a backup option in case rookie 5th-round pick Jamar Johnson out of Indiana struggles to take hold of that position. Johnson is a lot like Simmons in that regard in his ability to play the football. I think we'll end up seeing him starting by the end of the season. Another rookie in Caden Stearns should help provide good depth here as well. One of the reasons for optimism for the Broncos is that they are healthier and much improved on defense. We talked about their secondary and the influx of talent there, but defensively, especially within the front seven, getting back Von Miller instantly makes you a better defense. And of course, the rest of that defensive line is now healthy and ready to go. They are also young and talented along the offensive line. This shows you that you invest properly in the most important positions, O-line, D-line, your team fortunes tend to change. And this is a football team that has talented playmakers on both sides of the ball. You're talking about some of the elite at the position: Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, Justin Simmons on defense. On offense, you look at young up-and-coming stars like Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, Courtland Sutton, KJ Hamler. There's a lot of explosive, dynamic talent on both sides of the ball, which definitely gives you a lot of reason for optimism. A cause for concern would be if the quarterback position, doesn't matter if it's Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater, if they have any level of inconsistency throughout the season. If we end up seeing both quarterbacks throughout the season, any type of inconsistent play they get from the quarterback position could derail what could potentially be a really good season. All right, let's take a look at some training camp quick hits. Camp surprises on both sides of the ball. Offensively, Warren Jackson, the undrafted rookie wide receiver out of Colorado State, local kid that has the size at 6'6", 219, goes above the rim, plays the ball really well, and I think has a great chance to make this roster and work himself into the depth chart. And Mac McCain, another undrafted rookie free agent, this time coming from North Carolina A&T. He was one of the top cornerback prospects and playmakers at the FCS level at the position, and does a great job in not only helping you out on the back end, but tremendous on special teams. Looking at some rookie impact players, and on offense, Javonte Williams, the outstanding tailback from North Carolina, provides just another guy into this backfield mix that has good burst, good tackle breaking ability, and a nose for the end zone. So when you pair him with Melvin Gordon and Royce Freeman, he's going to have an impact, should help make this a really strong backfield. And Patrick Surtain II, drafted in the first round high for a reason, one of the more polished cornerback prospects to come out in quite some time, and he's someone to me that's a plug-and-play player. Some X factors offensively, I think it's obvious. We've talked about this all show long. It is the quarterback position. No matter who starts at quarterback, they have to make sure they hold up their end of the bargain. If they could find that level of consistency, this team has enough talent to really go far. And on the defensive side of the football, if the defensive line can step up and start to stop the run a lot better, I know health will go a long way in making sure that happens, because they really got gashed on the ground last year. So with a healthier defensive line, if they can step up, stop the run, we know they can get to the quarterback. This defense will be outstanding in 2021. Look for Lloyd Cushenberry to break out this year. He started to get better as the season went on for the Broncos and looks to be a pillar up front at the center position. I think he's primed for a breakout season this upcoming year. And defensively, Justin Strnad spent all of his rookie season on the IR. He's someone that has the athleticism, the coverage ability to play in today's game and thrive in today's game. And I think we'll see him showcase those talents out there on the field now that he's healthy. The road to the Super Bowl for the Broncos goes as follows. Number one, to continue to knock down this door, Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater rising to the challenge and help guide this offense. And a revamped secondary needs to turn the ball over. That's one thing they didn't do defensively last year. In addition to not stopping the run, they wasn't able to generate those turnovers. Now that you've upgraded the talent on the back end, if you're able to turn the ball over and get the ball back to what should be a well-balanced offensive attack, you can win a lot of games. And speaking of winning a lot of games, they have to learn to close out games. They played in so many nail biters last year, and a lot of times they came up on the losing end of those games. If they're able to close out games when they have teams beat, the Broncos have enough talent to get into and through the playoffs. I have the Broncos finishing third in the AFC West. To be completely honest, it's a coin flip between them and the second team I have in the division. This is a very talented Broncos bunch on both sides of the ball. Their biggest question and concern, in my opinion, will ultimately come down to whether or not the quarterback position can stabilize and play well. Because if so, like I've said all throughout the show, they got the running backs, the receivers, the offensive line is improving, the defensive front seven looks athletic and ready to get after the quarterback, and they boasted their secondary rather well this offseason. So again, the quarterback position could keep this team from being outside of the playoffs or into the playoffs, but right now it's third in the AFC West, in my opinion. So that's it for this edition of Football Game Plan's NFL All 32. I am Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts, and don't forget to check out and subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Also subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast and leave us a 5-star rating.
It's D-U-E-U till I see you by this point. You're reading my mind. It's time for football. We about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it. Let's do it. We gon' make this thing official. You heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit. Man, we about to keep this thing moving. I'm about it, you're with it. Let's do it. We gon' make this thing official. You heard me? If you're the best, then let's prove it. The goal is set to have a team become a unit. Yeah.